The godparents showed up along with the honorary...
All right, thanks for keeping me posted.
Problem?
Tony DiMera never showed up at his next port of call. Me and Kat and the three of us are gonna get to the bottom of whatever it is EJ thinks that he's gonna hide from us.
You are on EJ DiMera's very dangerous bad side.
I survived my DiMera family expose.
I've just been thinking a lot about Rafe and Leo and Javi and all of us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go into this relationship with Dante with my eyes wide open. I promise you.
We're so happy to meet you.
Today on Days of Our Lives, Sami Brady's shocking engagement announcement sends ripples through Salem, sparking celebration and concern in equal measure. As family gathers for Johnny and Chanel's baby shower, Marlena's health continues to worry loved ones, and Rafe Hernandez receives troubling updates about Tony DiMera's disappearance. Meanwhile, tensions rise over EJ's secretive schemes, and the DiMeras, Hortons, and Bradys are all drawn deeper into the storm. Let's break down everything that went down, from Sami's sparkling diamond to the unsettling truth about the Vitalis and EJ's next dangerous move. Hey Days of Our Lives fans. Sami's engagement spreads. Worries about Marlena increase. An update on Tony is alarming, and more family members return home for Johnny and Chanel's baby shower today. Rafe updates Eli at the police station about his efforts to bring down EJ DiMera with his analytic partner, Kat. In fact, they think that the core of his devilishness is the free clinic. It's the clinic that bears your great-grandfather's name, Eli. Rafe says that he, Eli, and Kat will find out what EJ believes he is keeping from them. The children return home. A jubilant Roman greets Eric, and Will as they enter the deserted pub. Over the bar is a sign that reads, "Welcome home, Trey." Will is sorry to inform you that Sonny was unable to leave work. Sami shows Marlena her dazzling diamond engagement ring when she pays her a visit at the townhouse. After 2 months of dating, Marlena quietly exclaims, "Wow," astonished to find herself engaged. Furthermore, Dante is a Vitali. Sami stands up for her fiancé and declares that she would approach the situation with an open mind. Abe tries to get Lonnie to talk Theo out of working for DiMera, while Paulina heads to Sweet Bits for the cake for Johnny and Chanel's baby shower. Lonnie, however, concurs with Paulina that Theo is an adult and that the DiMeras are also his family. "Sami, can you cancel?" Javi worries about Leo looking for a scoop on EJ at the gala after they talk about how difficult it will be to attend Trey's baby shower. He doesn't sure what he would do if something happened to him, and his stories have grave repercussions. After assuring him that everything will be all right, Leo reveals that Gwen wants him to locate Dimitri. But if Javi isn't comfortable with it, he won't do it. Javi worries whether locating him will provide him with closure. Since Dimitri would have returned if he had wanted to, Leo is unsure if anyone can be found. Unless he has a valid reason not to, Chanel questions whether Sami would be upset with them if they called off the celebration, while Johnny and Chanel desperately attempt to comfort a sobbing Trey at home. Johnny gently brings up his mother's temperament with his wife. Chanel is concerned about how difficult this will be for Rafe, Leo, and Javi, all of them, even though she knows they cannot cancel. Cake, concern, and catching up. Marlena tells a complaining Sami outside the pub that they only had 1 day's notice and that they couldn't bother to stop by because Carrie is on a different continent, Belle is in court, and Brady is on a field trip with Rachel. Once inside, Johnny and Chanel show up with Trey, Sami and Eric catch up, and Roman concerns about Marlena's pale appearance. Sami advises Johnny, who is alone himself, to figure out how to live in harmony with EJ. She tells him not to do something he will regret for the rest of his life when he refuses. In the meantime, Sami informs Will that she is engaged to Dante, whom Will has met and seemed to enjoy, and Eli and Lonnie inform Chanel that they are considering having another child. Sami pulls her ex away to catch up when Rafe, Leo, and Javi show up, but he is already aware of her engagement. The last time, she wanted to tell him herself, especially after he finishes for her in a pleasant manner. She smiles shyly. Rafe says her fiancé is a lucky man and is happy for her. Rafe will always hold a special place in Sami's heart, regardless of who she chooses to spend her time with. "You are everything to me," he says. "Will always." After spending an intimate moment with Leo, Marlena chooses to return home because she is exhausted. Roman and Sami are concerned as Will takes her. When Will moves his grandmother into the townhouse, he keeps the same worried look on his face. Back at the pub, Sami flirts with Rafe over cake and talks to Eli and Lonnie about raising twins. He hints that he will investigate her fiancé's past. Love and sad news. Eli and Lonnie are making out as Johnny and Chanel, accompanied by Trey, exit the pub. Lonnie, looking guilty, reveals that they have a babysitter at last. They end up canoodling in bed after Eli goes back to it after the new parents have left. Johnny and Chanel are awestruck by their son at home. Chanel claims that while celebrating with their family was wonderful, this is even better. Rafe finds out over the phone back at the pub that Tony never arrived at his next port of call. Officially, he has been listed as missing. Chad's devastating blow and EJ's desperate trap. Days of Our Lives spoilers for November 17th to 21st, 2025 predict that Chad DiMera will be crushed and EJ DiMera will be cornered. As is customary on early edition days, we begin by discussing what's coming up this week before delving into next week's events. Spoilers for Days of Our Lives. Rafe makes a startling finding. Rafe Hernandez will be revealing something unsettling on Wednesday, November 12th. Additionally, I wonder whether he learns that Dr. Wilhelm Rolf is returning to the area to work in EJ's covert laboratory. That would be quite unsettling. Marlena Evans is in pain after a very busy day. Additionally, she might be casting another magic. Marlena can experience some intense emotional reactions when the gala recognizes John Black's bequest to University Hospital. In addition, Sami Brady is thrilled to be throwing a baby shower for her recently born grandson, Trey. Naturally, Chanel Dupree and Johnny DiMera are also new parents. Sami was careful to inform EJ that he was not invited. The fact that Rafe is Lil T's honorary grandfather was then brought up by Sami. Will Horton also ran into his mother Sami this week and inquired about her engagement. I'm curious if they'll go into further detail on this Dante Vitale, who is clearly linked to Ava Vitale. However, given how infrequently Sami appears on screen, I'm wondering if this character will actually appear or if he was only made up and will never be seen. Spoilers for Days of Our Lives. Gwen is tense and Abe is doubtful. For the gala, Chandler Massey reprises his role, as will in 2 episodes. Abe Carver and Lonnie Price had a conversation about her brother, Theo Carver. There must be a reason why Theo feels comfortable opening out to his stepmother Paulina Price, but not to his own father. Lonnie is telling her father. I'm curious if Abe would change his mind about collaborating with Theo's Uncle EJ to remove Theo from his CEO role. We have a nervous Gwen Rizek on Thursday, November 13th. She has a covert mission. This might be because to her Leo Stark situation, in which she is attempting to persuade him to travel outside of town in search of Dmitri von Lusmer DiMera, but Leo is also deeply infatuated with Javi Hernandez. Therefore, I'm not sure how successful her plan will be. I'm curious to know if Gwen is involved in the kidnapping of Kristen DiMera, which may begin on Thursday, but will undoubtedly take place on Friday. DOOL spoilers. The gala at the Horton Clinic begins. There will be a tender moment between Marlena and her grandchild. He must be keeping tabs on his grandmother's health and episodes of fainting. I believe this will be his final episode because he is also at the event and is holding his daughter Ariana Horton. EJ and Sami cross paths again. Additionally, it's just as weird as the previous one. After 3 episodes, Sami departs Salem to return to her Italian gangster fiancé. I'm curious as to whether Sami will reiterate his warning to EJ to avoid Trey. As they investigate this dubious lab, Leo and Kat Green are working against each other's will. On Thursday, the Horton Clinic Gala will begin. Jack Devereaux will be back on Friday, November 14th, to assist Jennifer Horton as she prepares to battle for custody of Thomas and Charlotte DiMera. Spoilers for Days of Our Lives. Eric Brady is back. At the gala, Jennifer will also be giving the keynote address and discussing the Horton family. Eli Grant wants to ask EJ some questions, and I question whether these have to do with EJ's or Theo's actual goals for the free clinic. Sarah Horton received an update regarding Xander Cook from Maggie Horton Kyriakis. He has been putting a lot of effort on saving Titan. Kat is looking stunning and slinky at the gala this week as well. In the square, she is holding her copy of Wuthering Heights. She just had that memory flash, so I wonder whether she's hoping to see EJ. Kristen gets abducted this week as well, right out of Statesville, still in her blues, blindfolded, and wondering where in the world she is. This week, we will also be seeing Steve Johnson, the brother of Julie Williams, and Eric Brady, Sammy's twin. Paul Narita and Andrew Donovan are also coming back to Salem for the gala. Since the Days of Our Lives gala presentation will include a mention of John's bequest, I'm sure it has something to do with that. Days of Our Lives spoilers. EJ's Evil Lab is revealed November 17th to 21st. We're launching a major umbrella story that will center on EJ's new lab throughout the week of November 17th to 21st. To put it simply, an umbrella tale is a plot device that consists of several minor stories that all tie together to form the larger, twisted science plotline of EJ Lab. Clearly, this is related to the new Stefano DiMera and Marlena's situation. They have been preparing for it for a very long time. We're hoping that this slow-growing tree will eventually bear some fruit. Next week, Doctors Mark Green and Rolf will begin their first experiment in this dubious lab. Mark might be seeking to enroll his mother, Kate Roberts, in a research experiment where Versix will be used. She has early-onset dementia as a result of the trauma she endured at the hands of the awful Clyde Weston, who has recently been mentioned by name. Hopefully, he stays in that coma. However, as long as they don't let Clyde go, I wouldn't object if Dr. Rolf and Mark were doing experiments on him. He would make an excellent lab guinea pig, in my opinion. Therefore, we're also anticipating whether a fresh Stefano plan will emerge from that lab in stealth. Jeremy Horton addresses trauma across generations. Jeremy Horton confronts his history. He is considering his actions. Additionally, his father, Mike Horton, is on his mind, as well as the idea and simple shock of generation. You know, when Julie and Marie were telling Jeremy about Mike, it kind of reminds me of Johnny's story, his beginnings with EJ and Sami. Therefore, it's difficult to determine whether he has changed. I'm not sure, but he was furious the other day. In fact, I'm hoping Michael Rourke, the actor, stays since I really like him. Startling abductions and the return of Salem. Sarah might soon join Kristen, who was abducted. Rumor has it that she will also be abducted shortly after this villain, henchman, or man. Perhaps EJ is able to free Kristen from prison. We will go deeper into the relationship between EJ and Kat in Wuthering Heights. We witnessed the flashback in which Kat finally recalled seeing Sami at that clinic abroad after speaking with her. EJ was recuperating over there. If you recall, that was after he learned that Sami had discovered he had been raised from the dead. This was even prior to Dan Feuerriegel being chosen for the part. They just had a man wearing bandages. To help him recover, they traveled to this clinic abroad. Additionally, there was where Kat was recovering from reconstructive and plastic surgery following her horrific vehicle accident. Therefore, I'm eager to observe Kat conversing with EJ to check whether it brings back memories. She might perhaps read him a section from the book. That would be fascinating. As the custody battle for Thomas intensifies, Chad is crushed. Following the gala, Rachel Black is on a path filled with difficulties. And if Jennifer takes Thomas, Chad might be smashed to bits. It might come down to Thomas snapping at Chad and having to let him go in order to calm down. But I don't think it will go to court. Thomas and Chad, by the way, have both been recast. Additionally, I believe that the new actors won't be seen until April 2026. Thomas most likely won't remain on screen in Salem, but Chad most likely will. Uncovering Kristen's mystery, Xander's furious finding, and Gabi's final opportunity. According to Days of Our Lives spoilers for the week of November 17th to 21st, Gabi Hernandez will have her final opportunity, Xander Kyriakis will make an infuriating discovery, and Kristen DiMera's mystery will come to light. Since someone is going to rescue Kristen from the slammer, DOOL viewers will first encounter her after the kidnapping. Days viewers will finally get the answers to the puzzle of who kidnapped Kristen from Statesville and why. Will Kristen's kidnapping have anything to do with the mystery behind Tony DiMera's disappearance, the drama surrounding Dimitri von Leusner's disappearance, or maybe another mess? In any event, in the upcoming episodes, Kristen will encounter some challenging new situations and attempt to make sense of them. Abe Carver has been terrified of the instability that DiMera will bring, and there will be much more of it in the future. The next DiMera crisis will undoubtedly hit hard, and Abe doesn't want Theo Carver to get in over his head. However, Days spoilers indicate that Abe might finally accept Theo's choice, particularly now that Lonnie Price Grant has encouraged him to do so. Chad DiMera might accept EJ DiMera's invitation to remain at the DiMera estate while the situation at the Horton residence settles down. Jennifer Horton Devereaux might still be adamant, nevertheless, that the children move in with their grandparents in Boston. Though he may give in to avoid going to court in the end, at least temporarily, Chad doesn't want to send Thomas and Charlotte DiMera that far away. Meanwhile, Marlena Evans might soon find herself back in the hospital as her Queen of the Night dreams will resurface and begin to seriously affect her. According to previews for other days, Brady Black and Sarah Horton Kyriakis will share a significant moment. Xander will be the one to interrupt the atmosphere with his envious and irate response. Steve Johnson and Kayla Johnson will then enjoy themselves while taking part in the pub's trivia night. Philip Kyriakis and Gabi will also attend this trivia night, which might be the quiet before the storm. This may be Gabi's final opportunity to tell Philip the truth and attempt to lessen the harm caused by her assistance in Tony's recovery of Titan. Since Gabi is unlikely to confess, she should make the most of her happiness with Philip while it lasts. Eventually, Philip will learn what Gabi done, which could ruin their new relationship. According to spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Salem will see a lot of unexpected and romantic developments in the future. What Marlena ought to have mentioned to Leo, Johnny is involved. In order to support Leo during his grief over the death of his foster son Tesoro, now known as John III, also known as Trey, Marlena put aside her own sorrow and fatigue on the November 12th episode of Days of Our Lives. We were shocked that Marlena didn't relate her own experience with a remarkably similar circumstance, especially because this week is dedicated to flashbacks and examining Salem's past. Stories of misfortune. Marlena was married to Don before John and before Roman, Don's snotty teenage daughter. Donna was one of the soap opera difficulties that the marriage had. The real tragedy of Marlena and Don's marriage, however, occurred in 1980 when their 3-month-old son, Donald Jr., also known as DJ, passed away from SIDS. Don and Marlena's marriage collapsed due to the tragic loss, particularly since in his grief, Don blamed Marlena for DJ's early birth and death on her work-related obsession. Contributing, after DJ passed away, Marlena was uncomfortable and wary around kids until she met a preteen boy who had been abandoned. She took him in and raised him for nearly 2 years, including the time when the Salem Strangler followed her, when her foster kid's biological mother arrived. Marlena had just begun to settle down when he was taken to live with her, causing Marlena to lose yet another son. The game's name. What was the name of the small man? Why, Johnny. Indeed, Johnny Black, Johnny DiMera, John III, and Johnny Stockton were all a part of Marlena's life. We wish Marlena had talked about her personal experience of losing a suspiciously similar-sounding foster son while she was consoling Leo, and that we had been given a glimpse of their tearful farewell. This is the week to celebrate anything related to days. Gala night surprises. EJ's meeting with Will, who consoles Marlena. According to spoilers for Thursday, November 13th's episode of Days of Our Lives, there will be some exciting surprises that night. Additionally, Will Horton will console Marlena Evans during an unexpected meeting with EJ DiMera. Sami Brady intends to attend the party briefly, but she will shortly be departing Salem once more. But before Sami leaves, she will still have to deal with EJ once again. Sami's admission that she attempted to persuade Johnny DiMera to at least put up with EJ could result from that. Sami is rooting for Johnny to make amends with EJ in some way because she knows he will regret cutting his father out of his life entirely. It's possible that Kat Green will see Sami again, which could cause another flashback. Fans of DOOL now know that Kat was reportedly at the same Italian clinic where Sami remained by the bedside of a comatose EJ. Kat didn't recognize EJ when she read Wuthering Heights to him because he was wrapped in bandages at the time. Things are beginning to make sense now. So on Thursday's show, Kat might tell EJ and possibly even Sami about the link. Leo, Stark, and Kat will then unintentionally work against one another. There will be some misunderstandings and competing plans that prevent Leo and Kat from learning more about EJ's dubious hospital wing, despite their shared desire to do so. For her part, Gwen Von Leusner will take on a top-secret mission that keeps her occupied and anxious. According to Days spoilers, Gwen will be hoping she is not found following EJ's instructions because that might bring them both into a lot of problems. Will bring Marlena Evans her tea and provide some consolation as his grandmother is obviously not feeling well. Marlena can admit that she misses John Black, who, if he were still here, would have enjoyed the baby shower. Will might, however, maintain that John was present in spirit and try his best to comfort Marlena. According to teasers for Days, Will and Marlena will have a lovely moment of connecting as grandmother and grandson. Regretfully, Marlena may eventually experience a full-scale recurrence of her Queen of the Night dreams, leaving her even more shaken. While the gala starts, EJ will be depending on Gwen to fulfill her part, but she will be nervous while she completes a top-secret operation across town. According to Days leaks, there will be a large celebration with additional guests and speeches since the Dr. Tom Horton Free Clinic is about to open. Of course, with all of EJ's planning, there will also be some drama around the lab experiment. According to teasers for Days of Our Lives, this evening will be extremely unforgettable. Will Jeremy Horton of Days take Julie's advice to heart? Or is it too late? Salem should be on edge when Jeremy's actual goals are revealed and old secrets are revealed, casting a dark shadow over the Hortons' past. One advantage of viewing a 60-year-old television program, such as Days of Our Lives, is that the seasoned characters have many anecdotes to share about the past. Present viewers can learn about Days past thanks to the Hortons and the show's significant anniversary. Recently, Julie and Marie told Jeremy about one of the most heinous events in their family, Bill raping Laura and Mickey believing he was Mike's father. Bill was actually his biological father from the beginning. Through this anecdote, Julie seems to be trying to convey a message to the recently returning Horton. Horror stories of the Horton family. It seems like Mike never really took the time to sit down with his son and explain this aspect of his origins. Jeremy claimed to have heard tidbits of information, but never the whole truth. Furthermore, Julie and Marie just shared another extremely tragic story. Another was the one in which Marie unintentionally fell in love with her brother and, as a result of the fallout, became a nun. Julie gave Jeremy some advice at the end of Monday's show that he would be well advised to keep in mind. Every family has secrets, even the most successful families. You develop and learn. It's not about brushing things under the rug, as you discover in due time. Jeremy, it's about moving on with your life and not allowing the past to define you. Who is Jeremy Horton in real life? Jeremy is at a turning point right now. He claims to have grown up, changed, and put forth the effort to improve himself. He desires forgiveness and atonement and all it entails. Still, there seems to be a sinister and unsettling element hiding behind the surface. The unexpected way, he unexpectedly brings flowers to Stephanie's house. After they coincidentally connected on a dating app, he and Jada went on a date. And what was happening during that Halloween celebration? He had the knife ready to attack Alex when the pumpkin flew in Alex's direction, correct? Are we to assume that Jeremy is still instructing young, susceptible brains and hasn't changed at all? At the moment, it seems as though the Hortons are either ignoring his previous actions or are unsure of the specifics of what he did. It was terrible how he treated Stephanie during his last visit to the area. Furthermore, it makes sense that his homecoming has set her off. Salem must exercise caution. Alex and Stephanie must continue to avoid him. Don't prod the bear. At least until they find out whether old Jeremy is still present and ready to play, or whether he has left the building. Although we don't know where this story is going, there's a very real potential that Jeremy won't be able to choose redemption. He must absorb his ancestry and the affection that the Hortons so readily show for their own. He must let go of his murky past and revel in the brightness of personalized Christmas ornaments. Jeremy should continue to work on his mental and emotional recovery while concentrating on going on with his life. Where's the drama, though? Everyone in Salem should be on high alert for the holidays and beyond if Jeremy is unable to follow the morally right route. Mayhem at Dante Vitali's mob wedding. Does Sammy's groom bring trouble? Spoilers for Days of Our Lives suggest that a Dante Vitali mob wedding may be in the horizon. Will Sami Brady's new husband cause problems? Sami revealed her engagement to Dante Vitali to EJ DiMera on the November 11th episode of Days. As a result, EJ reacted negatively and inquired as to whether Sami was insane. Despite EJ's tirade about the Vitalis being mobsters, Sami maintained that Dante was not involved in any of that. Sami claims that Dante has no knowledge of his cousins in Pennsylvania because his family remained in Italy. But since EJ was obviously dubious, perhaps Days fans need to be as well. Ultimately, DOOL authors may have just created a kind character without a mafia affiliation. It feels important that they decided to force Sami to wed into the Vitali clan. It could be the show's attempt to build up a future Days plot, or, at the very least, a wedding with a lot of mob violence. Although Sami and Dante haven't decided on a date yet, it will be interesting to watch what transpires. It might become a very hazardous situation if Dante and Sami eventually have an on-screen marriage ceremony. Even if the wedding takes place off-screen, it could still go horribly wrong and leave Sami in need of consolation. Naturally, there is also a chance that Sami will actually turn into Mrs. Vitali, which could be a different type of disaster. She might get in over her head if Sami is mistaken, and Dante is simply keeping her in the dark about his own connections to the mob. Before Sami realizes how dangerous this situation really is, she may get herself into too much trouble. In any event, Sami has identified her future spouse as Dante Vitali, so now that we know who he is associated with, there is a lot of space for conjecture. Does Sami believe that Dante Vitale is a good man, or is he terrible news? Will Gabi's deceit be forgiven by Philip and Xander? According to previews for Days of Our Lives, secrets in Salem are rarely kept a secret for very long. Rafe Hernandez has a huge hit on her hands. Spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Gabi and Philip's relationship may end. Gabi's friendship with Xander Kyriakis and her relationship with Philip Kyriakis could be destroyed by her deceit. Fans are aware that Gabi and Tony DiMera were covertly planning to unseat Philip and Xander for the top slot at DiMera. To spy on them, she placed a bug in Xander's office. Philip and Xander attempted to hide a juicy truth from Gabi. In order to prove that he had inherited Titan, the family business, Philip falsified a letter from Victor Kyriakis. Xander learned the truth and nearly killed Philip. Reluctantly, the two brothers put their differences aside and cooperated to safeguard Titan's interests. Though he never suspected Gabi, Xander discovered the bug. Philip and Xander eventually developed a strong friendship and are now supportive of one another. Gabi informed Tony, who, as was to be expected, betrayed her. She did, however, succeed in gaining control over her fashion label, Gabi Chic, which was exactly what she had always desired. It's interesting to note that Gabi told Theo Carver that she had stabbed Xander and Philip in the back. Tony promised Gabi the job, and Tony extended that offer to Theo. Days of Our Lives spoilers. Tony and Theo are both aware of Gabi's actions. Theo correctly deduced that Gabi didn't want them to know about her corporate espionage attempt since it would destroy her budding relationship with Philip. She genuinely cares for him now. Theo vowed not to speak to Philip or Xander after Gabi bravely confided in him. But both Theo and Tony are fully aware of Gabi's dishonesty. Philip and Xander will eventually be made aware of Gabi's deception in some way. Even while we love Gabi, we think she might have to come clean eventually. Since Philip has done his share of stupid errors, maybe he will forgive her if she is at least honest with him. However, we're prepared to wager that Xander may not be so understanding. It can irritate him because of his anger management problems. Even though he continues to put in a lot of effort in anger management therapy, he is just beginning to develop self-control. Spoilers for Days of Our Lives. Philip and Xander might not agree about how to respond to Gabi's betrayal. It's also possible that Gabi's betrayal would strain Philip and Xander's friendship, which would be detrimental to the business. We must question whether and when Gabi intends to provide an explanation. Unless she's backed into a corner, which is very likely, Gabi probably wouldn't come clean. However, we believe that she might be willing to take the chance of telling Philip the truth. Gabi has also been treated well by Xander. Xander was the one who promised to pay a reward to the person who abducted her daughter, Ariana Horton, together with Holly Jonas. Gabi sobbed in Xander's arms as he also gave her a tender embrace. Gabi isn't a heartless person. She was led to believe that a great pot of money was waiting for her at the end of the rainbow, even if she didn't particularly enjoy betraying the brothers. All we can do now is wait for the inevitable consequences. If Philip learns that Gabi is the reason he and Xander might have lost their father's legacy to Tony DiMera, will he end their relationship? Or will Philip, who has engaged in some blatantly dishonest tactics himself, forgive Gabi and shield the facts from a potentially erratic Xander? It's anybody's guess right now. The clinic gala, Sami and EJ take it on. Marlena receives assistance from Will. According to Days of Our Lives spoilers for Thursday, November 13th, Sami and EJ are done pretending to be cordial ex-partners and co-parents. And it's finally time for the celebration of the inauguration of the Tom Horton Memorial Free Clinic. After that, on Days, EJ was going about his business, doing slightly evil things in a charmingly casual way, when the one and only Sami happened to walk into his office. Given that they have 2 children, one of whom is most likely still a minor, we must presume that the 2 occasionally speak off-screen. And now that Johnny and Chanel's child Trey has been adopted, they are grandparents together. When it came to the baby shower she was hosting for the new family, Sami kindly informed EJ that he was not invited, and then revealed that she was involved to a Vitalis crime family member. EJ can consider it for a while. He now has more thoughts on the matter. Waters that are calmer. Will's upbringing with teen mother Sami was quite turbulent. Fortunately, Grandma Marlena was a constant source of stability and serenity. Will is able to support Marlena, who is now having difficulties now that he is an adult and in a committed relationship of his own. Though it evokes a lot of emotions and regrets, she is pleased to see the gala's tribute to John. Will might be able to lift her spirits. Most desired, regarding keeping his secrets, such as what he actually uses the clinic for and what led to the recent blackout, EJ gave Gwen and Kat strict instructions. In his capacity as an adventurous reporter, Leo would like to know both of those things. This implies that someone will be let down when their paths cross. Is it Team Chad or Team Jennifer? Fans of Days of Our Lives talk about the escalating drama between Chad and Jennifer. As Jennifer promises to try to keep her grandchildren away from Chad, fans of Days of Our Lives are commenting on their rivalry. Which is correct, Jennifer or Chad? The last straw for Jennifer over Chad's actions was when Thomas was struck by a car. Jennifer believes that Chad isn't prioritizing his children or their feelings, particularly with regard to Kat. When Jennifer demanded that Chad allow her to take Thomas and Charlotte to Boston to live with her and Jack, the gloves came off at the hospital. Chad refused to compromise or bow to Jennifer. As the two appear to be on the verge of a contentious custody dispute, he actually returned it immediately. In the latest feud, Days fans are picking sides, and to be honest, Chad is winning. Who in the hell does Jennifer believe she is? A fan on X said, "It's not like Chad left Thomas and Charlotte on a bus alone." "So glad he called her out," commented another fan. Chad was right to be angry at Jen. She has no right to threaten to remove his children. As a young child, Thomas is not thinking clearly and has been influenced by Rachel and Jen. Another follower added, "I love Chad standing up for himself and his children." Fans were urged to select between Team Chad and Team Jennifer. In one post on X, 88% of the votes went to the latter. Indeed, there are a small number of Days fans that support Jennifer. "I support Jennifer Rose because she is laying down the law to Chad." One fan said, "We can all agree that Flynn and Reeves did a fantastic job acting in those sequences," as one admirer said. The acting in these scenes between Jennifer and Chad is excellent. When Billy Flynn has a terrific scene partner like Missy Reeves, he can truly act. Here, they're both great. One fan said, "It demonstrates why we need our vets on this show." Battle lines are being formed as Jennifer and Chad's drama reaches a new level. We have to remain committed to the fight as Team Chad. How about you? As Days celebrates its 60th anniversary, Peter Reckel and Eric Martsolf have a heartfelt conversation. Fans showered Peter Reckel with affection and fond memories, while many expressed sorrow that Bo and Hope were not included in the 60th anniversary celebration. Bo's eventual recovery from sepsis and his brief reunion with Hope when he awoke from his coma in June felt like the kind of moment that fans cherish. Those emotional payoffs and returns have always been the focus of Days of Our Lives. When Peter Reckel reappeared this week, it was virtually rather than in Salem, and he shared a message that swiftly became one of the most moving commemorations of the show's 60th anniversary. An online class act. Reckel celebrated by retweeting an X post that included a collage of former stars and the show's new cast photo. The original message was, "Happy Days of Our Lives 60th anniversary." Kudos to the whole cast and staff, both current and former, who have helped the show succeed for more than 60 years. Congratulations to all that have worked to create DOOL for all these years. Reckel wrote in his own note, "Being a member of the Days family makes me feel incredibly privileged and proud. We are incredibly grateful to the audience, whose commitment has made these 60 years possible." His longtime co-star Eric Martsolf noticed that post and shared it, stating, "From the man who has been so crucial to the show's foundation. I salute you, friend." Peter Reckel, who was always kind, said, "It's great to hear from you. You guys seem to be quite busy with your songs. At some point, I might unexpectedly attend one of your performances." Supporters' opinions. Longtime watchers who have watched Bo transform from rebel to love idol over decades have responded in droves, as was to be anticipated. In reference to Melissa Reeves and Matthew Ashford, a fan commented, "You and Christian should have been back to celebrate Days 60 along with Matt and Missy. Nicole deserved to be here," stated another. Some only wanted to express their admiration, such as "Congratulations to Days of Our Lives on 60 years. Another said, "Yay! She was a much beloved character. Cheers to your 60th anniversary. Enjoy your weekend." Along with pride, there was the well-known aching of nostalgia. It was really disappointing that Bo and Hope weren't in the photo or there for the 60th anniversary. How could anyone have thought it was a good idea to not ask them back? "How unfortunate," someone moaned. Others, however, touched a more delicate note. "Thank you, Peter, for playing such a significant role in Days. You undoubtedly contributed to the current state of the show." The tale of Days fans worldwide is one of thankfulness and longing. They still care enough to want the entire family in the picture, even after 60 years. And that feeling of family is still present, both on and off screen. If the conversation between Reckel and Martsolf is any indication, let us know in the comments section below.